So very good evening and a warm welcome on behalf of AMA. I'm Shruti Shah. I'm the member of AMA PR committee, and today I'm here to chair the session. A session that is on the topic which is, I would say, not only the talk of the town, but it is in talk at global level, right? To introduce the subject, I was just thinking in the afternoon that the two alphabets, A and I, few years back, just had the meaning of that literal word that, okay, these are letters. But since few years, if we put them together and it reads as AI, that means artificial intelligence. This artificial intelligence has changed the world, the dimensions we operate, the dimensions we behave to the next level. Practically, it is touching every single human life, and it's a huge potential. It's a subject in itself, it's a vertical for research, and it has a huge potential. But every potential always comes with opportunities and threats. So everybody, I'm very sure, all of us who are here today in this hall, we all are very happy, we all are being opportunistic because it has a promising future. At the same time, it has brought some threat also, that will it take human jobs? So today we all are lucky enough here to have our special guest who is a very senior, experienced person and particularly a researcher in this field of artificial intelligence. So let me welcome Dr. Ruta Desai on the stage. Please welcome.
Thank you for the intro.
Sit, I'll give you a formal introduction and then I'll hand over the mic to you. Book and a flower. Okay, so Dr. Ruta Desai, she is a research scientist and manager at Meta Reality Labs in the USA. Meta is not a new name at all and probably a dream company to work with for every aspirant in the field of IT, right? She has done her master's in robotic sciences and her PhD in robotics from Carnegie Mellon University, which is a very prestigious university. She has a lot of work experience with other very well-known organizations like Autodesk and Disney, which are very well-renowned companies. She also has done a lot of research work and presented a lot of research papers across the globe in a very, very prestigious conferences and in journals. She has also won many awards and recognitions like the Best Paper Awards at ACM Chai and Clever conferences. She also has won awards like Dr. Kanako Moira Award for Women Research and the Google Anita Borg Memorial Scholarship, which is commendable. Also, she is very much involved in other community activities at her possible level. And I would now hand over this session to Mr. Alap Tanna, who would further take this. Thank you.
ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. સૌથી પહેલાં હું જ્યારે ગુજરાતમાં આવ્યા છે, માતૃભૂમિ પર આવ્યા છે, તો એમનું સ્વાગત હું સૂતરની આંટીથી વિનંતી કરીશ બંકિમભાઈને કે સૂતરની આંટી આપી અને આપણે ડૉક્ટર રૂતા દેસાઈનું સ્વાગત કરીએ. ડૉક્ટર રૂતાની કારકિર્દી અને એમના અભ્યાસ વિશે વાત કરવા દઈશું તો આખું સેશન ત્યાં જ પતી જશે. એટલે એ વિશે કંઈ જ નથી બોલવાનો. એમના રિસર્ચ પેપર અને એમની કારકિર્દી વિશે જો આપણે જાણવાની ઈચ્છા હોય તો rutadesai.github.io જે વેબસાઇટ છે એની પરથી તમે એમની કારકિર્દી વિશે વધારે માહિતી મેળવી શકશો. આજે આ જે વક્તવ્ય કે જે સેશન આપણે અહીંયા અટેન્ડ કરવાના છીએ એનો મુખ્ય ઉદ્દેશ્ય એ છે કે હવે આપણી પાસે જ્યારે બહુ જ બધી કરિયર ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટીઝ છે, અને એના માટે આપણે રિસર્ચ કરતા હોઈએ છીએ. તો જેણે એક એવી કારકિર્દી બનાવી છે એમની પાસેથી આપણે એમની એ કારકિર્દીની સફર જાણવાના છીએ. ઇનફોર્મલ સેશન છે, એ થોડીક વાતો એમની કારકિર્દી વિશે કરશે. ખાસ કરીને ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી કઈ રીતે ક્રિએટ કરવી, બે વસ્તુ હોય છે કે આપણે ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી વેટ કરતા હોઈએ છીએ, જ્યારે ઋતા દેસાઈ જેવા વ્યક્તિઓએ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટીઝ ક્રિએટ કરી છે. તો એ ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટીઝ કઈ રીતે ક્રિએટ કરી છે એના વિશે જાણીશું. આપના પ્રશ્નો તૈયાર રાખજો, આપણે વચ્ચે વચ્ચે પ્રશ્નોત્તરી કરીશું અને એમની સફરની વાત કરીશું. મારે વધારે વાત નથી કરવી. નાવ ડૉક્ટર ઋતા દેસાઈ.
That was a very kind introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here. My plan today was to talk about my journey so far. I think you heard a formal introduction about where I got my degrees and so on, but maybe I can talk a little bit about the actual research I did there. And then I wanted to open up for questions in case you had questions about anything really, about like the topics that I've worked on, about how to go about finding opportunities here or applying outside and so on. And then after that, I have some slides where I can walk through some of the sub-areas, current state-of-the-art work that is happening in artificial intelligence. And that part as well, I hope we can keep it interactive. And you can ask me anytime in between about whatever questions you might have related to those subfields. To begin with, it would also help me to know what's the audience here right now. So if it is okay, it would be great to raise hands from the audience and see what all your backgrounds are. That way, maybe I will not bore you and can talk about more relevant things.
My name is Umar, and I'm into manufacturing field, and I want to know how AI can help in the manufacturing field.
Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else would like to? Yeah. If you want, you can pass the mic around. Thank you.
पिंगलाचार्य का जो भी क्यूबिट्स है उसमें हम रिसर्च कर रहे हैं अभी.
Thank you. So I would say biology and AI in some, but AI for numerical sciences. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Great. What type of software work do you do? Web development.
Mobile, yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm into real estate, and actually my daughter, she's in her initial phase of study in IT.
Okay.
So I'm just exploring any opportunities for her or what. Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
मैं प्रोफेसर नवीन पटेल साइकोलॉजी का रिटायर्ड प्रोफेसर हूँ. इन ह्यूमन वेल बीइंग ये आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को हम कैसे यूज़फुल बना सकते हैं, क्योंकि इसमें लोगों को डर ज़्यादा है.
जी.
तो वो डर निकालने के लिए
हाँ.
ये कैसे यूज़फुल हो सकती है वो जानने के लिए मैं यहाँ पे हाजिर हूँ.
Myself, Dr. Kautilya Desai. I am into medical field. So, which way artificial intelligence can help to, or which way can it be useful to the medical field? That I would like to know about.
Yeah. Thank you. I saw a few more hands. Yeah.
Hi everyone, this is Vrunda Gadesha and I am a research scholar at Ahmedabad University, specifically working in natural language processing for human resources.
Oh, great.
And looking forward to see how to create the opportunities after finishing my PhD.
Awesome. Yeah, great to see PhD scholars from here. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Ishan and I run the medical portal, just like Cosmic MediPoint. So I would like to, as well as SEO and SMO developer. So आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस कैसे डिजिटल मार्केटिंग में हेल्प कर सकता है वो मैं यहाँ जानना
Yeah, I think few more hands. Yeah, there's a lot of interest in applied stuff like digital marketing, manufacturing, also medical. So I don't have slides on that, but I can just talk about it after. So that's why I was asking this question. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, I saw a few more hands.
I'm Bhomik Shah, and I am a cotton trader, but I am looking forward for business opportunities in future in artificial intelligence field. That's why I am here.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nisarg Bhatt, and I was with Apple as a teaching assistant, and I just ended my job, and I started as a director of a research firm in my college called AI Gharana.
For?
AI Gharana. It's called AI Gharana. It's
Okay.
for research.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. This year I complete my BTech in computer science. Meanwhile, I study machine learning from Stanford University by Coursera. My professor name is Andrew Ng, and I want to make career in artificial intelligence. And meanwhile, I preparation for IELTS, and I want to know about which university I have to get in USA. So here I would like to talk about my career opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah.
I am Suresh Thakkar. I would like to know how this artificial intelligence can help in media industry.
With?
Media industry, how is this
Media
can be
industry.
helpful?
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, maybe it seems like because there's so many wide topics, it would be helpful to immediately go to Q&A. So that way we can, because like I said, I have slides related to topics which I am very closely associated with. So my current research is related to natural language processing a little bit, but mostly computer vision and robotics. And so I have slides on those, but I can talk about a lot of other applications that the audience is interested in. So maybe, yeah, I see one more hand, but then I think after this hand we can go into Q&A after I, briefly talk about the research I've done. Yes, please.
Very good evening. Ruda, like my question is, you did your BTech from NIT, right? In electrical and electronics.
Yes.
So how you got inclined towards the artificial intelligence? That's my first question, because by profession I am professor.
Okay.
So I have been taking care of these students. I am in the field of IT. I did my master's from Australia. People talk a lot about AI, but people don't have understanding of it. So like whether you talk, give us a more idea, like what kind of a key skill is required. The word is the talk of the town, that doesn't mean you need to jump on that. What are the key things? Mathematics, Python programming, C. So what are your journey? Like precisely I would be interested to know that. So, and like if the time permits, then tomorrow I would also like to invite you to my university.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Great, yeah, and thank you so much for engaging. This gives me hope that this is not going to be a boring session and we'll all have a nice conversation today. So yeah, very quickly, 5 minutes, let me talk about my journey in a bit more detail, and then we'll open up for questions. So yeah, like the intro mentioned and the gentleman here mentioned, I started here in engineering. I did my BTech in electronics and electrical at NIT Surat, National Institute of Technology Surat. And to directly answer your question, I think one of the things that really got me into research and thinking about artificial intelligence was building robots. So a lot of this technical universities and engineering institutes these days have this tech fest, where there will be problem statements about, for example, I remember a problem statement from my undergrad where we had to make sets of robots that could go around in a maze and find they were supposed to be ants, and they were supposed to find the sugar cubes. This sounds very like naive and what is hard here, right? But not really. Think of ants moving around in the world and how they detect smells and try to find sugar, and they form this entire queue, and most of the times they'll have an optimal route to get to the food. So how can I make a machine do this? That's where this started. I think that was one of the first robots I built, and I think I learned more outside of the class than in the class. But yeah, that made me think that intelligence is so beautiful and so underappreciated, right? Like, when we start studying in school, we start thinking about, what career will I take? What job will I do? But then we miss the joys of understanding the world. And I think in 11th, 12th, I remember doing that by, physics problems. But then I think in engineering, it was getting lost a little bit till I started going to these technical festivals. So yeah, I started thinking about intelligence. Like, think of us as humans. We are so capable. We can walk in the world, which is such a hard thing to do. In my master's, actually, I tried to understand how people can balance and walk, inspired by this. And it was really hard. If I ask you, any of you today, can you explain me how you walk? Today, I push one of you, you'll be able to balance. Can you explain me how you do that? You will not be able to explain it to me. So robotics allowed me to create or recreate that intelligence. And I think there is a quote out there that what I cannot build, I cannot understand. So that's where this started, that by making robots, machines that can do things that humans can do, I'll be able to understand human intelligence, and that's where my journey started. And then I ended up going for a master's at CMU in robotics, where as I said, I worked on understanding human balance and human walking, and the applications could be like mechanical applications, right? Like, how can I develop a prosthetic leg that have the same capabilities? Then from there on, I moved on to do a PhD, where I was also interested in making sure that everybody who is interested in learning about robots can do that. So I developed optimization-based tools, software tools with optimization and AI in backend that can allow anyone to build robots. So that was my PhD thesis. And then from there on, I also got interested into human and machine collaboration, not just how humans work, but how can human and machines work together better. So today, a lot of my research is on human AI collaboration, where if you have an AI-powered machine, that is your phone, that can be any future smart device like an augmented reality glass or a robot. For that matter, Alexa is a very intelligent smart robot, if you think of it, Alexa or Google Home. And how can the two machines work how can that machine and the human work together to assist the human and understand what the human wants and empower the human? So that's my current research, and I'll stop there so that we can get to all the questions you all were highlighting. So I remember, sir, you were saying that you were interested in manufacturing. So right now, a lot of AI models are used to figure out efficient manufacturing processes. There is also AI models that can do efficient CAD design. So there's work in automatically generating CAD models. And these are just some examples that I know. I'm sure there's more. My area is not that. But yeah, I'm happy to connect you to people that do mechanical engineering research if you are later interested. I lost track of a lot of the questions, so I'm going to open up again for actual questions this time. Yeah, floor is yours. Yeah. Also, on that note, sir, did I answer a question about how I got into it? Yeah.
I used to read newspaper every day, and what I feel that artificial intelligence, it's a fear in the mind of the people that it will eat lots of jobs in future. So my first question is that, like in this field, what are the opportunities in the India as well as across the world who really want to work in the field? And how research can help the new generation? Means what are the career opportunities in the different research field in the technology?
Yeah, so I think there are two questions there. First is whether AI is going to take jobs. This is a very understandable questions. I think of this as industrial revolution, right? Like before industrial revolution, right? Like we were all, majority population had jobs in industry, like mills, right? Like you would go do hard labor. And then machines came, those jobs went away. But that allowed us to do something better, right? Like now we can, and also scale up. We can manufacture things today which we wouldn't have been able to without those machines and that industrial revolution. And people adapted. I think one of the, like I mentioned the intelligence qualities in humans that I get excited about every day. And one of that capability is, adapting, right? Like learning. You will be able to, as a humankind, move on to better, different things. You learn, right? Like I think the thing we do best is to learn. And so if today your job of, say, driving Uber is going to be taken in 10, 15 years by, say, a self-driving car, you'll be able to move on to better types of work, more creative work, and so on. And I think there will be few years of adaptation, and it will happen with different time scales in different countries. But I don't think there is anything to fear. So that's the first more meta answer, more broader response. To your actual second question of what are the opportunities here, I think there were people mentioning like digital media and marketing and so on. I think there is lots of applications that AI can do today that were not possible before. For example, like all the ads that we are seeing, aren't they so much more powerful? Like you look out for something in Google and then Facebook starts showing you ads. So just the understanding of what the human wants is improving so much with AI that will allow to create a lot of applications. And I think the applications that we need for India, people outside are not going to think about, right? Like I come to India and I see a lot of these solutions that are so much for the Indian subcontinent, right? Like Paytm and all the fintech that has developed. We don't have that in US, but like today I can go on a chai stall and like pay with my phone. That doesn't exist in the US at this scale with billion people. So even though some of the AI research existed there, finding applications in our that are relevant for our needs in India is something only we can do and only we are capable of doing. So I think we can have an open mind about like some of those opportunities and build up on there. Were you looking for more specific examples of opportunities, or is this helpful?
Like what they said means there is a huge recession nowadays in the US and as well as in like Europe. So my question is that you belongs to there, you just come from there only. So it is a real situation over there, and most of the layoff in the technology field only. This we are going to read every day in the newspaper.
Right.
So that is my question, actually a real question. Like what are the opportunities for the students who just have completed their 12th and now they are going in the technology field. So they might be feel this recession when they come out from their graduation.
Yeah, so right now AI is advancing at such a fast scale. So I'll show some slides in a bit. For the first time we have models that can do things that we were never able to do before, because of which the field is adapting, right? There are things that the tech industry did not anticipate because they didn't anticipate these breakthroughs in AI. So all of them are now adapting, and that's why there are some layoffs. That doesn't mean the layoffs will continue. There are those moments in research and science where you take a leap forward, right? Like industrial revolution is another example. And then there will be some adjustment. So think of this as an adjustment. It's hard to predict such breakthroughs, but when they happen, they are going to push us forward. And so don't think of this as there's going to be recession that's going to continue. We'll adapt, and there's going to be more opportunities. There are going to be more things we will need to do now that we have capable AI, right? Like, we'll need to figure out whether this data generated by, or content generated by AI is real or fake. Whether we can use some of these AI tools to create new things for ads, or for my kids, right? Like, art project. Like, we can use AI for anything. I think basically I'm trying to say that some of these are hard to predict, but it's okay. And in history also we have seen this, and we'll continue to see this. So, and then to the question of what should someone who has just finished 12th do? I think I sometimes joke that the most useful things I learned were in my school. I didn't really learn much in undergrad, but I think mathematics, science, physics, statistics, all of those hard sciences are something that if you're interested in advancing in AI or any engineering or science field really, you need to have good basics in this. And calculus has been like an evergreen thing since the times of Newton. That's not going to change. If you understand those basics, everything else you can just learn. If you're graduating right now, what I would recommend is make sure you have the basics right, and then it's okay. Some new field will pop up, and if that sounds exciting to you, you'll go ahead and learn. I hope that helps. I see a hand.
So I would like to ask that as you belong to Meta Research Lab, would you like to share some of the use case specifically where NLP application is happening, as in text summarization or text generation, which is actually you are using? Because sitting on another side, specifically in research, we are not able to visualize that what kind of applications are there in industry. We are just doing research like comparing BERT and GPT-4, but I cannot visualize that what kind of real applications would be there in the research labs.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think I also basically do work like you do, compare models. But I think from an application perspective, one of the visions that a lot of the companies are right now going after is the next generation computing platform, right? Like, if you think of it, when we were kids, I remember I didn't have a computer for a while, and then we had this desktop computers. And a lot of the people I work with are old, and they talk about this very big computers they had with like floppy disks and things like that. And then we ended up with phones, which is like a supercomputer in your pocket, and that changed the way how we interact with the world, how we do things. And what would the next computing platform look like, which is going to be beyond phone, which will be more immersive. And I think, I don't know if you saw the Apple Vision Pro announcement recently. So for some of those next computing platform, you need natural language understanding, because natural language is how we understand the world, how we interact with people, we interact with the world. I mean, just a random example would be, if I am talking to someone whose language I don't speak, can it do auto translation to me on the fly? And that is a very hard problem, even though translation works very well right now, because now you have to solve the last mile problem of making it work on a device with power and compute limitations, right? Like, you'll have battery limitations, you'll have to send the data to cloud, compute in the cloud and send back, and so on, right? So yeah, this is just one example, but there are so many more. Hopefully that was useful.
As you are a research scientist at Meta, there are a lot of models coming, like LLMs, computer vision models. A few days back, Sam Altman came to India, and someone asked him that if India is capable of making such basic models or base models like BERT or GPT or PaLM. So he replied that it is not possible here for some reasons or something, and it really started a debate. But let's not go into the debate. But what is the environment that is required to grow such research? Because India has the best data in the most diverse data in languages, in all kind of health data and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So where are we lacking in research? So is there not proper environment here, or something else is required to grow this kind of research?
Yeah, I don't know the actual debate, but some practical considerations are right now I mean, even within US or like outside, right, this research is difficult, like even at university level, just because of the scale of these models. So like the models you are mentioning, GPT-4 and so on, they take months to train on lots of machines. So, I mean, even if I was a PhD student right now, I wouldn't be able to do that, even if I was in like, I don't know, Stanford or MIT, right? Like, and that has propelled, on a side note, research of like, how can we do how can we make smaller models be as capable as bigger models, right? Like by distillation, by teacher forcing, and all of those techniques. So, okay, that was a sidebar. But yeah, so I think right now, just the time we are in, the research is focused in certain pockets of the world, but that's okay. I think the research has to happen first before it can be democratized, and hopefully democratization will be the next step. But then to your main question of what would you need here to do such research, I think honestly we are doing research, but maybe in just different things, right? Like, and to that lady's question early on, I think that's because our needs right now are different. Like, I think we are so much better in India at like fintech, and we are the biggest consumer right now of like the mobile tech and apps and so on. And so a lot of the work that happens in India is probably focused on that, on our needs. And that's why some of this research you are seeing coming from there. The last thing I think is that we do definitely need more research institutes. I think, I mean, we are 1 billion people, and still the best institutes to go to are IITs and ISCs, which are handful. In those universities, what you need are people who can be excited about what they do, and who are excited about what they do and can like send that excitement out to the students so that they get excited about doing those things. And more of that ecosystem is going to pull in more people in the future. So that's just like a rosy vision I hope we get to at some point. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Yes.
Hello. So I have always been excited about quantum machine learning and quantum artificial intelligence. And recently, the Indian government also proposed a quantum mission about 6,000 crores. But every time I have approached someone over here, everyone is like, it is a very narrow stream. But what I think is, until and unless if we don't explore the stream, we cannot find anything. So what is your take on that, and any opportunities over in India and abroad?
Yeah, I don't know that much about quantum computing. Have you looked at PRL and the TIFR Institute, like what they are doing these days in this fields? And then I think ISC also has a good lab on this. So that's the more practical answer. To your meta question of should you go after a field that is very niche, you should. I mean, yeah, ultimately, I feel like when you're excited and curious about something, that's when the creative and real work happens. So yeah, go after it, and then you'll chart your way. Don't worry about what others are saying. You probably know more about them than they do.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
So the most famous example of AI today is ChatGPT, and from what I understand, it has been trained exclusively on text. So what is the wouldn't it be more model? Wouldn't it be more useful if it knew how to deal with images, videos, sound, and so on? So where are we with that respect?
Yeah, let me, on that note, I don't know how to move to the slides. I had some slides, right? Do you know how to get to those? Oh, thanks. I had a slide on computer vision because that's something I'm really excited about. So yeah, like you are saying, I think now we have really, really powerful text models, but the world is multimodal. We have all these modalities, all these senses. And I think there's a lot of research happening there. There are multimodal GPT-like models that can take in not just text, but also images and other modalities. They are trained in similar manner. They still output text, many of them. But then the first idea is, because if I see an image, I can still explain it in text. So the first frontier is that we want to understand what's in those modalities and output in text. And then there are also actually models that can output in images. So, I mean, you probably know of Stable Diffusion, where you put in text and the output is pixels. So yeah, basically I think the modal space is the next frontier for some of this, as they are called, foundation models. So yeah, I know this is probably going to be a repeat for some of you, but I wanted to show this for a broader audience. One of the sub-areas of artificial intelligence is computer vision, which is focused on understanding images and videos. And right now there's a lot of amazing things happening. Just to put this in context, when I started my PhD, the world, the people in computer vision were just trying to take an image and detect objects. And by that, I mean they were trying to draw a box around an object. They wanted to know which objects are there in an image and where it is located. And this was working only for a few hundred objects. And today, we can segment literally anything in an image. We can, what do I mean by segmentation? We can take a pixel and know semantically what it means. So here, for example, we know that this is a penguin, and it has not just detected one penguin, but it has detected every penguin in perfect way. Similarly, there is video understanding, which is a very hard problem because an image itself is a lot of pixels. So in terms of data, it is already a very dense data format. Now, put it in time scale, right? Like we have spatial image and over time. And right now, if you take a picture, right? Like if you record a video, it's like, you know, it's many times in GBs, right? With all our very fancy cameras. For a model to take that data in and make sense of what is in that data is pretty cool, in my opinion. So yeah, so this is the recent results from Google, where it can take a video and it can detect what is happening in the video, segment by segment, frame by frame. And as like I was saying, the output is in language. But yeah, there are models like diffusion that can output in images. So the last example here I have is text to image, where the input is, yeah, an astronaut riding a horse on Mars, and that's what the AI generated. This is also, to put in context, really cool because the AI has not seen an astronaut ride a horse, right? Like, if you think that AI is just like trained on the data and it is just like pulling out data, doing a query on the data and pulling out what it has seen before, that's not the case, because have you seen an astronaut ride a horse before? No, but like the AI was able to generate this because it understands what it means to ride a horse, what it means to look like an astronaut, and so on. So yeah, okay, that was a sidebar, but I hope that was helpful. Yeah, more questions?
I want to add something on this video understanding. Here, recently Google update their algorithm on YouTube, and they publish a video. They provide a live caption on our YouTube video. So this algorithm that work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And one more thing, I want to know about. I clear my BTech in computer science, and last time recently I make two algorithm for. IBM company, their IPR tools, and here I come for my career opportunity for which college I have to take in USA, which course I have to take in USA, and for making my bright career in artificial intelligence recent era.
Yeah, I think there are lots of good universities right now. I mean, beyond the big names, right? Like, yeah, beyond Stanford, MIT, CMU, there are a lot of universities have good AI courses. Georgia Tech has a good machine learning course. NYU has a really good machine learning and data science course as well. Yeah, again, beyond the big names. Um, you can also think about the specialization you want to do in AI, because AI is right now huge, right? Like even within computer vision, there's like so many subfields, for example. So based on that, I could send you some recommendations as well.
Yes, here in my college, we have one specialization in big data and analytics from IBM.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I complete my specialization in big data and analytics from IBM.
Behavior and analytics.
Yes,
Okay.
IBM faculties and their professionals, trainers, and they teach us artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all mathematics concepts, as well as C++, Python programming, and anything, etc. But I want to know about company and industry, means how to get opportunity to tackle interview of Meta and Facebook, Google.
Yeah, I think it would help to do a master's to get to jobs like what you are mentioning. Unless you want to start as a software engineer, which is also not necessarily a bad option these days, because of what I was mentioning right now, the scale to do some of this research is in those places just because of the compute we need and the data we need. So you could start as a software engineer. To get to interviews, I think, like I was mentioning, what matters are basics. So it doesn't matter what GPA you really got, but like you would be put through interviews that test your statistics knowledge, your basic machine learning knowledge, your coding skills, and it doesn't matter where you learn those, as long as you are good at those. Yeah.
Yes, perfectly as per your suggestions. Here I leave one company in Surat. I got a good handsome amount of package as a software developer, and I clear 7 to 8 company as a software developer. But here I not got opportunity to get a job in artificial intelligence as a AI developer. So, and as well as my family want to I go abroad and get a good job in Google and Apple. So.
Also, I mean, you don't have to go abroad for some of these jobs like I was mentioning. There are some things that are definitely happening here. For example, Microsoft Research India in Bangalore does a lot of great research. They also in fact do research on language models for Indian languages, right? That's another example where you have to adapt it for India's needs. And then I know that IBM Research India also has classically, historically rather, done a lot of good research on natural language space. It might also be useful to, if you are really interested in growing in the AI field and right now you feel like you're not having that opportunity in the job or based on the skills you have gotten from your BTech, you could consider doing internships in IIT and ISC, right? Like ISC computer science department was very good when I was a student here. Same with IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi. So, I mean, for that matter, even IIT Gandhinagar. So, like, you could start there and then get a sense of what it means to work in some of these topics so that you have something to show when you even start applying there.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think there's a question in the back. In the meantime, I want to also say that there was someone who had a question on AI for digital marketing. I forget who was asking that. This tool, for example, right, like Stable Diffusion. I think this is just an example of the methodology that is powering this tool. There are lots of startups these days that have capabilities of allowing you to create things. So like for your digital marketing, you might want to create assets and so on. And this will simplify some of those asset creation, digital art creation. And this is a very concrete thing that you could like use AI for if you're interested in digital marketing and AI for digital marketing. Sorry. Yes.
What is the next role of data privacy? How can we overcome the problem of misusing data?
That's a hard one. I think, would you be able to elaborate on what sort of data privacy concerns you have so that I don't give a very generic, useless answer?
Mostly in social media platforms. In this political environment, mostly people are getting misused by their data. And sometimes they use their data to set narratives.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's a great point. I think one of the things right now some of these websites and platforms out there do allow you to control the data, right? Like you can set, you can have those settings to make sure that your data is not used for even training models by the company or sharing it with the ad companies or allowing even other people to see them that you don't want others to see. So I think first we just need awareness around these because once you do select those options, the companies are bound legally to follow them. I think right now we just don't have awareness of like how the data is getting used. And I think companies are taking some steps to explain how they use your data, but who reads those like long descriptions, right? I understand those. So I think there's some work that needs to happen from both sides. Like the companies have to do better in terms of explaining you how they are using your data. But at the same time, there are tools to like allow you to have power over your data. I also want to say that even if you do allow the companies to use your data, right now the companies are really aware to make sure that they don't take information that is personally identifiable or of personal value. So for example, we do a lot of internal data collection and we have to go pass that data through anonymization and all those processes where we blur out faces, we blur out license plates, just some examples to ensure privacy and so on. But yeah, I think there's a lot of work happening. We need more awareness and we'll take it from there. I don't think this is going to be something we'll solve in a day. Yes. No, thank you. Plastic.
અને બીજો સવાલ એ છે કે આ એઆઈ છે એ જે ભારતના પ્રશ્નો છે ગરીબી ભ્રષ્ટાચાર એમાં એનો ઉકેલ લાવવામાં ભવિષ્યમાં મદદ કરી શકે? આ બે સવાલો છે.
હા, બહુ અઘરા સવાલ પૂછ્યા. સો સંબંધો પર તો એવું છે કે મને લાગે છે કે ઓલરેડી અત્યારે ફર્ગેટ એઆઈ પણ આપણે ટેકનોલોજીના અસર જોઈ રહ્યા છે, રાઈટ? લાઈક વી હેવ વેઝ ટુ કનેક્ટ બેટર. આઈ નો જે આઈ ડોન્ટ નો 1960s કે 70sમાં અમેરિકા ગયા હતા, એ લોકો ઘરે આઈ થિંક મહિના 2 મહિનામાં એક એસટીડી કોલ કે આઈએસડી કોલ કરતા હતા, બરાબર? હવે તો રોજ હું પપ્પાને મમ્મી જોડે વાત કરી શકું. સો આઈ થિંક if we use the tech right, it has the power to melt distances, and that will allow us to develop better relationships. I mean, today I'm in touch with school friends, which I don't think would have been possible without some of this communication channels and platforms. But yeah, at the same time, that does mean that we are losing the physical touch, so there is some balance there, and I don't think AI can help there. Yeah, I mean, ultimately AI is not the solution to everything. It is a tool, right? I hope we can figure out how to use the tool. તમારો બીજો પ્રશ્ન હતો ગરીબી અને બીજા પ્રશ્નો. આઈ થિંક ઇન્ડિયાના બીજા પ્રશ્નો જેમ કે ભ્રષ્ટાચાર, એ બધા માટે મને નથી ખબર એઆઈ શું કરી શકે. આઈ થિંક એઆઈ પાવર્ડ સિસ્ટમ્સ આપણે બનાવી શકીએ જે ચેક કરી શકે કે કરપ્શન થઈ રહ્યું છે કે નહીં, રાઈટ? લાઈક but for example, like if there is, we can automate processing of applications that are deciding ke kone, I don't know, ફ્લેટ મળશે કે જે પણ, રાઈટ? લાઈક જે આપણે વિતરણ કરતા હોય એ બધાનો જે ક્રાઇટેરિયા બેઝ વિતરણ કરતા હોય એમાં અત્યારે આપણે સપોઝ પૈસા ખવડાવીને કરાવીએ, પણ દેટ કુડ બી ઓટોમેટેડ એન્ડ વી કુડ હેવ એન AI determine who should get what. But that has its own problems because to make the AI understand what's the right thing to do there, you need data again. And that creates biases in the models. જેમ કે a very popular example from US is few years ago there was a problem in AI models that they would think that black people are criminals just because they had a lot of data of photos of black people from like criminal records. So the AI just sort of built that model that, oh, black people are criminals, but that's not true, right? So that's the type of bias I'm talking about. And I think again the research is happening on it. How long will it take to make sure we'll get there? I had to say.
Yeah.
So what is chatbot exactly?
Yeah, I don't know if, is there internet on this? We could do a demo, but okay, I won't try that. So yeah, chatbot is basically, so in the front end, it's just an box that you are talking to, right? In the back end, it's a model that can understand language at the very basic level. So the way it was trained is on lots and lots of language data. So because it has been trained on like books and Wikipedia and news articles and everything out there on internet, it has understanding of language. I mean, it has a good model of probabilities of what words happen after the word you have said right now. That's what I mean by a model here. And because it was trained on a lot of this data, those probabilities are really good. So it starts from there. It has understanding of language. And then on top of that, some of the chatbots you are mentioning, like BART and ChatGPT, they were trained with human dialogue. So અમે વિકીપીડિયા વાંચો તો વિકીપીડિયા ઇઝ લાઈક ન્યૂઝ આર્ટિકલ ફોર્મમાં હોય કે ઇન્ફોર્મેશનના ફોર્મમાં હોય એનાથી તમને ખબર ના પડે કે વાત કેવી રીતે કરવી જોઈએ. તો વાત કરવાનો જે ડેટા હોય એવો ડેટા લોકોએ કલેક્ટ કર્યો જેથી કરીને એમને આઈડિયા આવે કે કોઈ આ પ્રશ્ન પૂછે છે તો એનો મતલબ શું છે, કેમ કે ઘણી બધી વસ્તુ કેવી રીતે પૂછાય છે એના કોન્ટેક્સ્ટમાં એનો મતલબ સમજાય આપણને, બરાબર? તો એવા ટાઈપનો ડેટા કલેક્ટ કરીને કર્યો. બટ એટ ધ વેરી બેઝિક લેવલ it's a model that can understand, process language well. So yeah, this is an example of generative AI, this stable diffusion. I mean, ChatGPT or the chatbot you are mentioning is also generative AI. So at a very basic level, again, generative AI means that the AI can generate what it has not seen before, very naively. So it is not just like querying the data it has seen. So and what it generates could be anything. It could be generating language, it could be generating pixels. Yeah, I think that would be a very basic definition of generative AI. Yeah. Yes.
Hello, my name is Dipankar. I'm a mechanical engineering student currently in my third year. So I'm particularly interested in a career where there is an infusion between core engineering like manufacturing with AI. So like as you said that you did some work with walking robots and things. So I wanted to ask that to what extent should I be knowing things related to AI so that I'm able to work with such infused systems, but then also stay connected to the core mechanics or hardcore mechanical engineering?
Yeah, so I mean, again, like I was mentioning, you can think of AI as a tool. The application could be mechanical engineering. So I was mentioning like automatic CAD drawings, or for example. But some other examples are AI could be so AI is ultimately one way of thinking of AI is an optimization model, optimization process, and mechanics is full of models that you are optimizing for various processes. There are AI models that are used to like. If you do a fluid simulation, right, it is very computationally expensive, right, because you are simulating every particle in the fluid. But an AI model could accelerate that. I think what you can think of is if there are avenues you see in your current mechanical engineering work that could be automated. Just start there, and then from there you can think of what are possible automation solutions out there that have similar characteristics. They might not have been applied to mechanical engineering yet, but they could be, right? Like people didn't start with applying AI to fluid mechanics or physics simulation and so on, but they are applying it now because ultimately there is an input and output, and you want the model to understand what output to give based on the input, which is a very generic problem for anything. So once you start there, you would be able to apply AI to what you care about while, you know, being connected to, you know, the real world in some sense for your application.
Thank you.
I think there's a question behind.
Hello, Rutaven. You are a research scientist and tech lead manager at Meta Reality Labs Research. Can you please share some of your, you know, experiences at the Meta Labs, or what are the, you know, shortfalls you have experienced? Everyone feels that you are going through a very, you know, pink life and beautiful life in US, and you know, Meta Labs, you are doing amazing job, 6-figure salary here and there, but shed some light, you know, shed some experiences of your, you know, your job profile. What are the challenges you are facing? So that those are the things that, you know, I'm pretty sure that will definitely, you know, inspire people here and my kids as well. Thank you.
So are you talking about challenges? Could you elaborate on what an example challenge? What do you mean by challenges?
When you're doing your job at Meta, what are the challenges that you're facing, or you know, how do you do the research? At what length do you go to achieve your, you know, your tasks, your dreams, or you know, whatever you know, projects been assigned to you? So how do you go about it, or what are the processes? How do you start your day at the office and things like that?
Yeah, so yeah, like I was saying, currently my research is on human AI collaboration. So two concrete projects that I can give example of. I'm trying to figure out how humans and robots can work together in a house, right? Like if you're cleaning a house, how can a robot help you? Other example is, imagine you are trying to cook think of an assistant which is not a robot but an assistant that is virtual, that can help you with, again, everyday life. So imagine you're cooking something and you want to make sure that you're cooking a new recipe, you want to make sure you didn't miss a step. So those are two concrete applications of things I'm working on. In terms of actual challenges there, right, I think the first challenge in any industry research is to identify how your research can align with what the company needs, but at the same time can also excite you, right? So that is a hard thing to balance usually, because coming from PhD, you would have some research topics that you would be interested in, but then company might not be interested in them. So you'll have to find sort of a balance there. Being a woman in tech and science is also challenging at certain times, because you would many times be the only woman on the team or in a meeting. And so there are certain challenges associated with that. There are challenges associated with just working in a multicultural setting, because you know, people will be from all the different cultures and countries, and they will have their own ways of presenting their ideas, and you will have to figure out the human aspect of doing research there. So these are I think I would say some of the challenges. I think also a more meta thing that I've recently realized is trying to balance work with life is something that is especially difficult for work there, because there's not a good support system in terms of having family and friends around, and so you'll have to make sure that you know, you're not getting sucked into the problems at work and just you know, getting lost in work while forgetting other things in life. I don't know if that was useful, but yeah, happy to talk about specific challenges if you have questions on them. Yeah.
Child comes in the 11th and 12th, like when any child come in 8, 9, 10, the biggest question is career, right? And it's you know, means biggest phase of the life in child and parents both. Now it's a mic, because I'm passing through the same phase when my daughter also was in 10th. So like, if you want to stay in India, then medical is a career. If you want to go to abroad, then engineering is a career. Two careers are most famous in India. One is engineering and second is a NEET, right? Now the question is that what is a message, means what is your experience, why technology, means in the field of technology, people get more jobs, more opportunity, working satisfaction in abroad, not in the comparison of salary, but in the sense of working satisfaction. As this fellow said that he has done IBM certified courses in AI, but till he is not able to find a job in the same field. So he is now thinking that he should go to abroad and settled over there. So it's a struggle of everyone's career, because what they're studying in India, they are not able to getting job in that field. As you said, there are 2 research centers, one IBM and I think one is a Microsoft in India, right?
There's also Google Research,
Google
and there are a bunch of
Research,
them.
yeah,
I was just
yeah.
giving some concrete ones that came to my mind.
But the thing
Yeah.
is that educated people's line is too high in India. Like population is high, as well as most of the students, they are in the 2 field only mostly, like engineering or in the medical. So medical has a problem, they are not getting seat. So people think that why not go for engineering? So even if I don't get seat in India, I am able to do my master very easily at abroad and settle over there. So this is the scenario. So the question is that, practical question is that, it's a really true that opportunity in the field of technology is over there are overwhelming, means people should migrate over there. They will be satisfied with their education, means like Carnegie Mellon is one of the toppest university, right? So do you get rewarding career if you leave your country and study over there? Because people have only few chance, like bachelor, master and PhD. Afterwards, no one is able to study and start their career again. So this is the main question. It's really worthful to go over there and take their master and PhD, so they are able to get more opportunities over there. It's a satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think work there in some of these topics is satisfying, but that doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able to find some of those opportunities here. For example, if I wanted to teach, I would rather teach in India. If I wanted to be a professor, I would do that in India. Right now, there are some, yeah, like I was saying, some of the topics I'm interested in, there is good research happening there because of the scale possible, because they are thinking about those problems right now because they don't have some of the problems that we have to figure out here, right? Like of the scale of the people or poverty and so on. So yeah, that's why I'm there, and yeah, it is rewarding that in that sense that I'm able to work on topics that I'm excited about with people who are also interested in it and are pushing on them along with me. But yeah, basically I'm trying to say that if you go there, there will be rewarding careers, but there are rewarding careers here as well. I think I have lots of friends here who are actually leading startups and have created jobs that they wanted to do which didn't exist here. I have a friend who has a startup on cycling. I have a friend who has a startup on fintech, like giving micro loans to people. I have a friend who has a startup on electric bikes. And these were all the jobs that didn't exist. Like, you know, electric bikes was something like you drove because you didn't want to get a license. But you know, they are changing that. So I think you can create the same here. I'm just giving examples from technology field because that's the one I know most about, but I'm sure that that's true for medical and other fields. Yeah. Hello, Prashant.
I had a somewhat technical question. So when you train a model, you spend a lot of computational resources to do that. Are there means to utilize that when training another model, like transferring that learning or transferring? Yeah, and I also had another question related. Nowadays, in the last couple of last year or so, AI is like become a bigger buzzword than before even. So, in your opinion, what are the fundamental reasons why this happened? Like, were there specific advances in neural network stuff or reinforcement learning or computational capability, or what is it?
Yeah, I think I'll take the second question first. So yeah, you're right. I think neural networks, for example, existed in 1990s, but we are seeing some of the magic now because of two things. One is compute and one is data. I think we didn't have the scale of data that some of these models need to be effective before, and we are just getting better and better at generating data. And two, the compute. We didn't have this powerful GPUs before to do this. If we had all this data but not GPUs, then you would not be able to process all the data to train those models. Your first question was about transferring knowledge. I think, yeah, there are actually sub research areas on like how to make smaller models learn what the bigger models know about. There's transfer learning, there's teacher forcing, some of these things you can check out. Yeah, I think there's research on that. Yeah, is what I would end at. I had a lot of fun answering questions and just chatting with you all. I hope some of this was useful. I want to end with this one slide. What are we all after in AI? And people call it artificial general intelligence. So what do I mean by general intelligence? And so when we talk about AI, we would talk about an AI that can understand language. We would talk about AI that can understand images. We would talk about a robot that can walk. But those models can only do that, which was the case a few years ago. Now finally we have some models that can do more than one task, just like humans can. So that's what I mean by general intelligence. And think of like what I started the conversation with, right? Like all the things we humans can do. We can understand physics. If I put a unstable bottle here, you will be able to predict that it's going to fall down. You are able to make sure that you can drive the car and not crash into something. You are able to understand complex stories that didn't exist. You are able to do math. You are able to create art. That's the goal with AI, that hopefully we'll get to AI that could do all of this, not separately. We have AI models that can do this separately, but like one model that would be able to have at least some of these capabilities. So I had one example that I wanted to show. So this is one of the most capable models, AI models that we have today. Don't worry about the bottom example, it's too much text. But the first example, we have asked the AI model to draw a unicorn in a language, in a programming language. So think of this question, right? We are asking an AI to draw. A unicorn is a mythical creature, and the way it can draw it is through generating code. This TIKZ is a language, right? So it has to output code that can generate a unicorn, which is like, it has to create shapes that has to look like unicorn. It has to do almost like 3 levels of reasoning to get to this. It has to understand what is a unicorn. It has to understand how shapes can be put together to look like a unicorn. And it has to create those shapes through code. And it can do all of this by itself directly, without ever like being trained on this task. So yeah, it's very exciting times in AI, and hopefully some of you will go out there and continue your journey of learning and growing in AI. Okay, thank you. Yes, I have a question.
So, thank you very much, Ruta. I'm very sure everyone sitting here must have thoroughly enjoyed the session, because it was actually full of lot of useful information. And as a vote of thank, બે formalities મારે કરવાની છે. So, ma'am, please come here. Right. રમેશભાઈને પ્લીઝ સ્ટેજ ઉપર બોલાવીશ, અને રૂતાનું માટે જે બી તમને ગિફ્ટ કરવાનું છે, પ્લીઝ કમ હિયર.
પંદર વર્ષ પહેલાં મેં રૂતાનો એના ઘરે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ કર્યો, ત્યારે ઘણી બધી વાતો કરી હતી, અને એણે એવું કહેલું કે ભવિષ્યમાં હું જે આ કેરિયરમાં આગળ વધી રહી છું, પછી ભારત માટે મને કંઈક કરવાની તક મળશે તો હું બહુ રાજી થઈશ. એ શબ્દો આજે મને રૂતા તારા યાદ આવે છે. 12મા ધોરણમાં, હા, અને એ આપણે આશા રાખીએ કે ભગવાને એને જે આ સજ્જતા આપી છે, જે સ્કિલ છે, એનો ઉપયોગ ભારત માટે પણ આપણે ભવિષ્યમાં કરી શકીએ. 12મા ધોરણમાં એ ટોપ 10માં આવી, ત્યારે એને એક પત્રકારે એવો સવાલ પૂછેલો એની સિદ્ધિ માટે. ટાગોર હોલમાં બધા પત્રકારોએ એનો ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ કરેલો. ત્યારે એણે બહુ સરસ જવાબ આપેલો કે ભાઈ આ તો આખો એક સિલેબસ હતો અને એ સિલેબસના આધારે હું નંબર લઈ આવું એમાં કશું નથી. હું પોતે કંઈક મૌલિક રિસર્ચ કરું તો એ મારી સિદ્ધિ કહેવાય. મારું સાચું એચિવમેન્ટ તો એ કહેવાય કે વિધાઉટ એની સિલેબસ હું કંઈક કરી બતાવું. અને એણે કરી બતાવ્યું અમેરિકામાં જઈને. ત્યારે તો ખાસ મારે ઉલ્લેખ કરવાનો છે એમના પિતાજી પરિમલભાઈ દેસાઈ અને માતા ગીતાબેન આપણી વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત છે. અને એ બંને એના ઘડતરમાં એની કેરિયરમાં ખૂબ સહયોગ ખૂબ સંઘર્ષ પણ કર્યો છે બંને જણાએ. મને યાદ છે કે ત્યારે બધા લોકો એવું કહેતા હતા કે આ તમારી છોકરી આટલી તેજસ્વી છે તો એ રમતા રમતા આઈએએસ ઓફિસર થઈ જશે, આઈપીએસ થઈ જશે. ગીતાબેન ત્યારે કૃષ્ણા હોસ્પિટલમાં હતા, મેડિકલ ફિલ્ડમાં હતા. તો ઘણા લોકો એવું કહેતા હતા કે તમારી આટલી તેજસ્વી દીકરીને ડૉક્ટર બનાવો, પણ એ છેવટે રિસર્ચર બની કારણ કે નાનપણથી જ એને રિસર્ચનું કામ કરવું હતું. મારે નિસર્ગને પણ યાદ કરવો જોઈએ. ઋતાનો નાનો ભાઈ નિસર્ગ પણ અમેરિકામાં છે. નિસર્ગ એનું નામ પણ નિસર્ગ છે અને નિસર્ગ પણ ખૂબ ઇન્ટેલિજન્ટ છે અને એણે પણ રિસર્ચના ફિલ્ડમાં પીએચડી કર્યું છે. તો આ ભાઈ અને બહેનની એક એવી જોડી ગુજરાતમાંથી આપણને મળી છે જે રિસર્ચ ખૂબ સરસ કરી રહ્યું છે. અને ગ્લોબલ ગુજરાતી ફેડરેશન તરફથી આજે અમે પણ એમનો આભાર માનીએ છીએ અને એમનું સન્માન કરવા માગીએ છીએ તો સન્માન કરીશું. પરિમલભાઈ અને ગીતાબેનને હું વિનંતી કરીશ કે એના સન્માનમાં તમે પણ અમારી સાથે જોડાઓ પ્લીઝ. દીકુ લાઈવ બંકિમભાઈ પ્લીઝ તમે પણ આવો. ઋતાનું
So, Ruta, one more time. So, એની એક પ્રથા છે કે we never say goodbye. We always say see you again soon. So, I would surely like to give some memento to Ruta for her time, and I would like to thank you her on behalf of all of us and AMA. So, Ruta, please come here and again see you soon on the stage. Yes, again, see you soon and thank you very much everyone for being here.